Hello again, friends and leaders. Welcome back to What Leaders Want. I'm your host, Jay Delling, and it's here, right here, that we peel the proverbial onion back on how leadership makes the world go around. Today's podcast is sponsored by Canatus 3, the experts in leadership development, coaching, consulting, and healthy company culture. Canatus 3 develops people into leaders of people. It's going to be fun today. We're going to have a blast. My guest is Kirk Elmquist. And I'm going to try to take one deep breath and tell you what his title is. He's the executive director of the Branson Lakes Area Tourism Community Enhancement District. Kurt, thanks for stopping by to talk about the impact leadership has in our world. And congratulations for having the longest business card in North America. That was a mouthful. Welcome, Kirk.
You did good, man. Thank you for having me, Jay. I appreciate you, brother.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this. This is going to be fun. So I can't be guilty of calling your career predictable and monotonous. So, Kirk, your professional journey has so many wins and exciting adventures. You just got to pinch yourself every day when you get up.
I've had tremendous blessings. God's given me many things. My family's been very supportive of everything I've tried to accomplish. And you just take on things. You don't know why you do things in line, and then a big explosion of greatness happens because you did these things back here. Starts back, early on in 1987. I'm in a Cleveland Indians game and bought a St. Louis Cardinals hat, and we can get into more of that later. But I wasn't even a Cardinals fan. I just liked the red hat. And blonde-haired girl in Virginia, and now I'm in Missouri. And I mean, you can't plan your own journey sometimes. It's just fun to be prepared and be open and listening in your ears to, do the right steps.
Yeah, that's the key to it. A lot of times people will try to over plan their life, whereas sometimes you just keep your eyes open, right? Keep your eyes open, opportunities come your way. And that's exactly what's happened to you. And so Branson, Missouri is your home. That region is so blessed to have you as one of its biggest cheerleaders. When did this love affair with the Ozarks begin, and how did it evolve?
I think 1990s where I'd have to go back to, and that relates to the Cardinals hat. I wore a red hat to college. I graduated May 12th, 1990, 41, spoke at my graduation. And it was just an incredible experience at Liberty University. Played one AA football, wasn't very good. I was a backup. I had servant leadership in my mind at the time because I wasn't a starter. I wasn't going on to the league. But I had a wonderful time going to those tryouts and enjoying men like you who made me feel good about who I was. And that's what, to me, when Sam Rotiliano grabbed a hold of me and says, I need you to do these steps to help me with the ESPN cameras coming in and Sports Illustrated, go over and pick up the reporter. They're doing a story on me on being a new coach. I didn't know then that I'd be dealing with media and be dealing with all the great things in sports management and marketing and that type of thing. So I got the books out, was dating a gal from Missouri and met her the year before because she asked about my Cardinal hat that I'd bought 2 years ago in Cleveland at an Indians game. And fast forward, I had the blessings to move to Missouri, and I really fell in love with the Ozarks. I visited down here with my wife, and she's from here, and she goes, well, you don't want to live there. And I said, absolutely I do. So I came to the Ozarks, and then the Cardinals brought a AA team here, and I've been working with John Q. Hammonds and doing a lot of PGA golf stuff in Kansas City and in Springfield, Missouri. And it just fit. And now I get to rock the World Series ring from 2006.
Oh, look at that.
What's fun is, why did I buy that hat in 87? Well, I think God nudges you and does things down your path. And I've tried to be open. And, now, Jay, my role has become, I'm a fixer. And the last 5 positions I've had in Missouri, I was the only person that had ever done that position. And I've been very fortunate to work for 3 billionaire families here in the Ozarks, never had to leave. And now it's about enhancement of tourism to invite the world for more tourism in our Branson marketplace and work on big rocks down the road. So much gratitude from my heart. I know that.
All right. Who's your favorite Cardinal of all time?
Well, I had the blessings and fortune to be around Stan Musial a lot before he passed when we were with the Missouri Sports Hall of Fame. And we created a Stan Musial Golf Classic and put his name on it, and he endorsed it and gave us the Pope's reading on it. It was kind of fun. Stan was such a genuine, kind man. I never got to see him play because he had obviously retired before I was even on the planet. And when I got to be around Albert Pujols, working in the capacity as vice president of sales and marketing for the AA affiliate, I was just phenomenal. I had phenomenal respect for him because how he handled the press and how he handled things. I think in the current role, my most favorite was Adam Wainwright. He came in my office one day. We hit it off like that. He came down to throw and he didn't have a glove. So he borrowed my catcher's mitt that Rawlings had built for my hand. And it was kind of fun because he needed a glove. Well, what connected us was hilarious because I'm sitting there putting lotion on my hands and then on my head because bald guys got to keep that thing so it doesn't, dry up on you. He goes, "Is that juniper breeze?" And he knew the smell, and that's what he liked. So for the next 5 years of us being around each other, he'd be like, "What's up, Juniper?" I mean, little funny things like that where we connected on funny things that showed these men as human beings, not just superstars. But I think my all-time affiliated person with the Cardinals was Jack Buck. Being around Jack and his family there's not a more genuine, humble giver of love to men and women in the community, regardless of your station. And he treated me with the utmost respect, and he deserved it, from all of us.
He raised a pretty good broadcaster as well. No, what a great broadcaster. So you've seen the Branson market, Kirk, grow over your time there. It's just not the bald knobbers and Presleys anymore, right? Didn't happen by accident. Who have been the stakeholders in driving this growth of Branson, Missouri?
Well, you start with the music industry there. The live music shows was the foundation. I think the lake area has just exploded for summertime boats, becoming the top lake in the United States. The Herschen family, when they bought the cave in the 19 or 60 plus years ago and turned it into a family amusement park, is our number one driver, which comes to our region. And then when John Morris has really made an impact on the resort side of Branson down in Ridgedale, his impact on that is just phenomenal. You mentioned the Presley family. They were one of the originals there, and they're still there. And I know a couple of the family members, and they're just very talented people. But live music, attractions, and outdoor are really the three drivers of what goes on in our market.
Yeah, so talk about, I watched an interview with you on the barber shop, Jim Barber, who at one point, he was like considered one of the top 10 ventriloquists in the world. Right. And so you were on his show and he gave you a hard time because you mentioned a couple times a guy named John Morris. And he said, "Kirk, nobody calls Johnny Morris John." So you got a pretty good friendship with him.
If you work for him, you don't call him Johnny. And when you build a relationship with him, the first day I started in 2014, I said, "Mr. Morris, would you like to do?" And he stopped me and he goes, "It's John or Johnny. Please don't call me Mr. Morris again." I said, "Yes, sir, Mr. Morris." I was just how I was raised. And he kind of looked at me like, "You smart aleck, I'm not kidding." So the relationship I have with John to this day is one of my cherished. We text back and forth probably 2-3 times a month about something that humors him and me. Then we have that little fun thing that we have working together for 6 years. I applaud his success as much as I possibly can because I admire what he's done. Most people don't see the behind the scenes, what he deals with, the payroll, the load that's on that man each day is inspiring. So our relationship is of trust. We did a lot of great things together when he had me as his tournament director at Legends of Golf, working with the PGA Tour champions and College of the Ozarks, giving money to them to build those amazing memorials that honor the 1,410 men and women that died from Missouri in the Vietnam conflict, the Korean conflict memorial, the Gold Star Family Memorial that we got to help erect. And then I think one of the ones that really got to me was the War on Terror memorial that's there. And it really is a nice tribute to the patriots who served. And John Morris, instilled that in me. And when I got to meet Oliver North at Liberty University in '88, when he spoke at graduation, I just had a love for these veterans who really put their necks on the line for our country, for our freedom. And then I get to work in it and get to give money and raise money per year to help Dr. Davis do things at College of the Ozarks. And now a new thing is, our mayor, Larry Milton, has really pushed this tribute to valor and try to bring back the Bob Hope era of veterans in Branson, Missouri, and working with, some of the wonderful Medal of Honor winners. And I've had the fortune now to meet two. And sometimes, well, they say it's harder to meet a Medal of Honor recipient than it is an Oscar winner, a Super Bowl champion, because I've met a lot of those types of people. But to meet these Medal of Honor recipients, and they're not winners. They didn't sign up to be in a competition. They're recipients, and they owe our respect. There's 63 left on the planet, and they've never all been together in the same room. And Branson has a goal. We have a mission to honor those veterans. I don't know that we'll get all 63 here at one time, but they're parlaying this into a new thing to stimulate children in science, technology, engineering, and math. And Branson wants to be a part of those kind of things. Well, those are big rocks, Jay. Those are the things that I got hired to help be engaged in and help out with and move things forward. But yeah, John Morris, he inspires me almost daily because I see the beauty he's brought to the beautiful Ozarks.
Wow. And to start out selling fishing lures out of your trunk. So you've touched on it, right? What's next for Branson, right? What's next in the growth process for Branson? Who drives it? Who leads it? And what's the ultimate outcome in this journey?
It's an ultimate collaboration with all the stakeholders. Sitting with Pete Hershen and knowing Jack Hershen, I'm in the same office building he's in, and I see him many times per week. And to be around these men that have such humility about what they've accomplished. They're still driving things, and they've been retired for over 20 years. And that's what's so neat about it. They're great inspirers to give back to your community, whether it's a charitable function, a business function, or for your church, and those kind of great things. But tourism being driven, we have to have better transportation, more access for people to get here. I think the airport needs to enhance, if it possibly can, to bring in more commercial flights. I believe widening I-44 to 6 lanes from St. Louis to Joplin and all into Oklahoma is going to be critical. Safety and security with the truck industry, the car industry. So there's lanes of safety for families and truck drivers to get to our region. I think 65 that comes south out of Springfield needs enhanced in certain spots. Some of it's very, very good, and some of it could use some improvements for safety, more light, that kind of thing. And I think the Ozark Mountain High Road, to me, is one of the big goals that needs to happen. It comes off 65 and kind of bends in behind Silver Dollar City. Pete Hershen shared a dream and a vision with me, and I thought you'd just wrap it around Ridgedale and come all the way back up through Hollister and put it back at 65. And he said, hey, that's a great thought, but why don't we bend it to Northwest Arkansas, make it easier for that group to get in here, and then make it easier for our people to get back down to there. So I think transportation is a big, big thing. Total collaboration with the region. It can't be just about the population in Branson. We have to continue to work on infrastructure and make things safer and more secure here for the roads and for the people. And then the human being element, finding people to work in the hospitality industry. I think you have to have affordable housing, which helps these people that wait the tables, that sing the songs, that work the roller coasters and the Ferris wheels and the Bigfoot rides that are on 76. You got to have all those kind of people, and then they have to have a place to live. And not all of them can afford, the type of housing that maybe you and I grew up in. Things have evolved. My first home, you look at the square footage of that today, that's almost going for 120,000 more than it was in 1994 when I bought that. So we have to adjust. We have to understand economics and be very collaborative, working together as a region. The Ozark Mountains are one of the most beautiful parts of the United States, and we want to cherish the reserves and these amazing resources that we've been given. So we have to be environmentally conscientious. What we do, how we do things. Trash removal is important. All those things, how you drive cars, and it's about our water as well. We have one of the greatest fresh lakes area down in the country, and we have to preserve that, make sure it stays clean and safe for people to water ski and fish and swim and enjoy lots of time on the lake. So It's a lot. I think big rocks are a big part of it. And then I think building our brand toward one of the number one brands in the world, and the Kansas City Chiefs was an initiative we took on this past year, and that's going pretty well.
Very well. Kirk Elmquist, our guest on What Leaders Want, a tourism leader in the Branson area. Let's play word association, Kurt. I'm going to say a word. You tell me what comes to mind.
Okay.
Courage.
3 words: Medal of Honor.
Citizenship.
Love of country.
Sacrifice.
Grit.
Integrity and commitment.
Integrity. You give it away once. Commitment is who you are as a human being, of the gifts you've been given.
All right, well said. Now we're at the point in the podcast where we get to know Kirk Elmquist. All right, I'm going to ask a question or ask you to pick between 2 things. There's no points awarded, no prizes earned. You get nothing and you like it. Are you ready?
I got to win something. I'm a competitor. We got to have something.
All right, we'll get the producers to come up with something. All right.
You know a guy?
Yeah. I know a guy that knows a guy. All right. Obviously, we're in the Branson area, music, comedy, lots of great entertainment. All right, so music or comedy?
Music.
Who would win the pillow fight between the Bald Knobbers and the Presleys?
Historically, it's just got to be the Bald Knobbers.
They're mean son of a guns, aren't they?
That's how they got their heritage. I mean, you got to go with that. I think the Presleys, they're lovers.
Yeah. Pontoon boat or speedboat?
Pontoon boat.
It probably depends on the day, right? In a way.
Yeah, but you said I had to answer one
No,
word.
I get it.
I want both, but if I'm family oriented, give me the big 30-foot pontoon. I can put a bunch of people on.
All right. Who was the starting quarterback for the Liberty Flames in 1990?
Robbie Justino.
So Sam Rutigliano, which was the head coach for Liberty back in 1990, would have started the backup quarterback. Would the record would have been better or worse than 7-4?
Let's see. So Paul Johnson was the starter, and he got hurt. Robbie came in and finished it out. And then Rob Hewlett would have been the backup, and then Kirk Elmquist, the third string guy.
Okay, so let me read.
We'd have been a lot worse. We'd have been a lot worse.
All right, let's turn to golf. Pebble Beach or Augusta National?
To play or watch?
To play.
I've played Pebble Beach. I would covet the opportunity to play Augusta. And I'm going to tell you, you can't go wrong with the on them, but the beauty of Pebble Beach is just hard to understand and explain.
That's the next on my bucket list. I've been to Augusta National 3 times now. All
yeah,
right.
I've been there, I've never played it.
Yeah, it's just beautiful. Okay, yeah. Augusta National or St. Andrews?
To play?
Mm-hmm.
Jeez, these are great questions. I'm going to go Augusta.
All right. Oh, I like that. Okay. All right. So you and I are going to play one hole before the sun sets today. Are we going to play the postage stamp par 3 17th at TPC at Sawgrass or the par 5 13th at Augusta National?
Oh, Augusta National. I've played the 17th at Sawgrass. It's fun. It's not all that. It's not easy. I'm not saying it's easy, but put me on Augusta all day long. Let's go.
All right. So we're in the Branson area. It's a calm and warm Sunday afternoon after church. You call me up to play golf. Where are we playing?
We'll probably go to Paynes Valley.
I love it. Love it. All right, your dream foursome, dead or alive, you and three others.
Frank Sinatra, Tony Soprano, and Ronald Reagan.
Wow. You talk about a group. I want to be a four caddy in that group. All right, Kirk Elmquist, getting to know him. Thanks, Kirk. Again, no points awarded, no prizes. You get nothing, but we had a good time doing it.
We sure
All right,
did.
back to the ranch. So every conversation I have on What Leaders Want include the topic, my most impactful leadership moment. Yours includes arguably the greatest golfer ever and a music icon. Tell us about that.
It's 2019, and I've been working all year about making sure the details are put in place for our April Legends of Golf. And one of the celebrities that's been handed to me from John Morris's team and Debbie Bennett was Justin Timberlake. So I went and met with Justin's team in St. Louis just to have meetings regarding on needs, what he likes, why is he coming, all those kind of things. We had 13 or 14 conversations, in the months leading up to it. And his big thing was, I want to play with Jack Nicklaus in the Skins game. And I'm like, no problem. John Morris has already endorsed that. The PGA Tour's behind it. The Golf Channel's in. We're all good to go. Kevin, he's good to go. Who's managing and handling Justin Timberlake? And they're dear friends. And he caddies for him as well when he plays golf. So Kevin and I hit it off pretty well. We get to connecting about family and kids and all the things. So the day of the tournament, Jack is to land on Tuesday. We begin the Skins game and we start playing pro-ams, that kind of thing. So Jack's supposed to fly in on Tuesday. And Justin Timberlake is in now Monday night. And on Tuesday, he's coming to hit balls. And I'm sitting in the office and I get a phone call. And I haven't been face-to-face with Justin Timberlake yet. So I get a phone call and Jack Nicklaus's name and picture comes up on my phone. And I answer the phone thinking he's landed. His car, something's wrong. Because I'm the guy that always calls when something's wrong, when they need something. It's not, hey, Kirk, I've got this for you. It's you did do something wrong. That's leadership, which is, I love it. That's one of the things. So he says, I hate to make this phone call. Matter of fact, I've never made this phone call. He said, I've been grounded by my doctor. I cannot fly. It could be a life or death situation because of what's going on in my head and inside of my sickness. And my heart just sunk to the bottom of I was like, what are you dying? Are you okay? Or tell me what we can do for you as a Christian man. I want to pray. What do we need to do? He said, Kirk, my doctors have me. I'm not allowed to fly. And I have to cancel coming to your tournament. And my face, I had to be just a mess outside, but internally I was probably even worse. And it wasn't 2 minutes after that, Jay, Kevin walks through the door of the office and points at me and he goes, JT needs to see you. And I literally have no time to call John Morris, get a reaction, and walk into the locker room and it's Justin Timberlake and Kevin, and that's the only people in there. So I pass through security and walk in there and I said, hey, Justin, nice to meet you. He bro hugs me. And, just everything you think of kindness and a wonderful human being, that's what he is. I was blown away at his warm, genuine brotherhood right off the bat. And that is just something that, to me, because I don't really want anything from any celebrity or any person that's different than I am. I just want to show them respect and how can I serve them. And I look over at him. I'm like, man, how's your flight? Everything's good. He goes, yeah, John's team set me up. We're all good. Family's here. We're going to be here all week. We're probably going to stay even after the tournament. And I'm just like, he goes, I'm so excited to play with Jack Nicklaus. Oh. And I said, well, I just got off the phone with Jack Nicklaus and he is being canceled by his doctor to come and play in our golf tournament. And out of Justin Timberlake's mouth, I'll never forget it. He goes, is he okay? Do we need to pray for his family? And I'm kind of like, we will do that together. I said, but I need you to be Jack Nicklaus this week. He said, what do you mean? Because see, Arnold Palmer taught Justin Timberlake how to play golf. So this connection to these guys, and we're standing in Arnie's barn at Top of the Rock. This is where the office is. And he goes, what do you mean by that? I go, you're carrying this golf tournament this week. Jack Nicklaus, you have to play with Gary Player now. You get to play with Gary Player now. You're going to lead our skins game, and we got to ramp you up. Can you handle that? Or I go, I can't do anything about Jack not being here. I never assumed he was going to leave out of madness or frustration off of his first initial reaction to me that Jack couldn't be there. So I turned it on him quickly and just said, you're my Jack Nicklaus. And granted, globally, he touches so many things, kind of like what Taylor Swift's done for football. I mean, he touches so many things outside of golf, different than what Jack touches. Every golfer knows, but not every musician lover knows about Jack Nicklaus, vice versa. So those kind of things. So here comes Justin Timberlake. He goes, well, Kev, and Kevin's about to snap my neck. I mean, he's kind of like, now my reputation's on the line because I told this guy, this big bald guy told me that I get to play Jack Nicklaus. And none of us could control the situation. But Kevin was such a professional, and Justin Timberlake was an absolute prince when it came down to taking the lead in our tournament. And one of the greatest things that happened that week was the bond between he and I. We would be standing and talking, and he'd say, wouldn't it be cool if Jack was here on this shot? And he said, Kirk, what would Jack hit on this first tee shot? I said, well, last year he hit this 8-iron into this and and we started teeing it up. Well, then his wife was there with the children. So he's walking up 8, and I'll never forget this. I'm walking the fairway with him. I had the pleasure that day because we had to get the skins game moving to catch up with TV. That's part of my role as well. He goes and grabs Cyrus, his young son. And Cyrus had really never been photographed before because he was so little. So Cyrus is a couple of years old, maybe he's 4, and Justin's carrying him and walking up 8 fairway at the top of the rock, and People magazine shoots a picture of him. And that magazine photo went global that week and had 1 billion global social impressions on one picture from him and what he did for John Morris's golf resort and what he's done down there. And their friendship is strong as to this day. But I didn't know what to do. I just did what my heart told me to do. I didn't have time to write a plan or create a structure. It was kind of like being in the pocket, and here comes these defensive ends that just want to rip your head off. You just have to make a decision. And I made a decision, and it was a high risk decision because, the owner that I worked for wasn't informed yet. And then we informed him together, and then Jack and John talked together, and, those are a much higher level than I was ever involved in. But you have to make decisions when you're in the fight. You have to make decisions to say what you're doing and have the guts to do it. And I got to tell you, I don't know at the time that this was going to be such a pivotal moment, but it turned our golf tournament around like you can't believe.
Wow, that's self-awareness and self-leadership. All right, Kirk, what does enthusiasm by example mean to you?
I think the last 4 letters, Tom Hopkins told me this in 1990. I was there in 91 in January 7th or 8th in Chicago, Illinois. I was sitting in a training seminar. I'm 22 years old. And he said, enthusiasm, if you spell it, the last 4 letters are IASM. It's I am sold myself. And I get sold on something, I can sell it to you. But more importantly, I have to be confident enough in myself where I don't have to spend time on myself. I'm spending time on others and what this process, product, experience can do for others. That's what enthusiasm is about, giving of yourself to other people so they can enjoy the experience.
Wow. So your leadership style and perspective, like most of us, have evolved over time. Talk about this idea of love, hospitality, listening.
Listening is critical. 2 ears, 1 mouth for a reason. If you listen twice as much as you speak, Jay, I've never learned anything when I'm talking. I only learn from listening to wise people in my life and young people who give me unique perspectives at my age. It's kind of fun. Listening to me is critical. If I share my idea your way, it becomes true. If I share my idea my way, you tend to doubt it. So as a persuader of people, trying to do good things for people, whether it's tourism, a wall sign at a baseball park, a sponsorship for a pro-am, it has to benefit the investor. So listening is the only way that I've ever gotten there. Love conquers all things. When you have a problem with a human being and you were born of a sinful nature, I recommend you say their name that you're struggling with out loud and give their name up in prayer to get them off of you, because you're going to handle it wrong. You're going to handle it in your sinful nature on what you think's best for you, but God's going to handle that situation, intervene for you, and it's going to be best for all parties. And the interventions that he can do for us and going ahead, that's the love part of my leadership style. And I didn't always have that. I used to just handle things on my own and, do things and be the dominant person and run over, and hurt a lot of toes on the way there and made a lot of mistakes and probably some enemies. And I hope they'll forgive me, because at 55 years of age, I try to love first. When there's people who are adversarial with me, I don't want to fight head on, face to face. Life's too short. I don't want to be in the newspaper for being a disgruntled, ignorant person. I want to be in the newspaper for good things for other people. I want to be engaged with human beings in collaboration that they said, well, man, I was treated fairly. Kirk loved me through that situation, or that you could tell there was love at the table. I think those are very, very critical. And hospitality, you can't buy it, but you have to have it in our industry. It's like life insurance. Money buys it, but it doesn't make you safer.
Mm-hmm.
You have to create the safety. You have to create the security. Hospitality is much the same. Yeah, you can train, teach. But genuinely in your heart, if you only care about yourself, you're not going to be very hospitable. So I try to treat people like, if you come to my home, then you want a particular type of food or drink, I'm going to try to get it for you. I'm going to treat you with respect. And hospitality is making someone else's experience better than what they expected. That's genuine Ozarks hospitality.
Kirk Elmquist, leader in tourism in the Branson, Missouri area. Kirk, you have a chief leadership role with the Branson Chamber that introduces proven leadership principles to leaders in and around the Branson area. Tell us about this initiative and what it brings to the participants of this leadership training program, and ultimately what it means to the leadership of growing Branson.
It's been going on many, many years before I got here. And then I went through the program and met you guys, and I thought I could volunteer my time in doing this. So I engaged as a volunteer to give the 11 months it basically takes to put this on, 9 months of intensive training face-to-face with the class. And you sign up for a class and you commit to it, and there's 30 to 40 to 50 people in it, and you're together for a solid year, and you have a graduation at the end of the year. But in that time, we try to bend those people to become a team of class of 22 or class of 24, whatever it is. And what that does is they learn about what the Branson history is and the Lakes area are together. And we show them the inside of what a dam does, and why do we have dams down here to dam these rivers, to create power, to create lights, to create tourism. Why do we go listen to planning and zoning and talk to city leaders and understand the governmental side? And we also teach the fundamentals of not-for-profit and giving back. We also teach that, you might be 35 years old or even 55 years old sitting in this classroom. We've had a 75-year-old go through it. It's kind of fun. But they are the future leader that has to take responsibility for creating business, creating tax revenue, creating a tourism lifestyle of hospitality in our marketplace. And we try to mold and melt this group together, and we teach principles along the way. We slide it in with a guerrilla marketing tactic of, by the way, what's your personality like? And we hire experts like you to come in and test our people so they can maximize themselves and get their thoughts off themselves so they can focus on leading other people. And I think a strong leader has confidence in who they are, and we try to instill that. We also there's a quiet leader sitting in the room. Well, maybe their example is a family person, a steady personality, maybe not necessarily a dominant or an influencer, but it's somebody who can really do a lot of great things behind the scenes and brings tremendous value to the program. So I try to engage myself, and I've got a partner in this, and Shelly, and of course Grant with the chamber, but our personalities are drastically different. But when I went through this class, I thought I could help bring some of my enthusiasm, energy, and leadership to the front of this. And we've really tried to ramp it up, and we've had some great results. This started many, many years ago. We're just trying to enhance it like we do with tourism.
How do you sign up for this leadership program?
Go to explore or go to bransonchamber.com, and you'll find the leadership class. We're taking applications right now. And I got to tell you, if you're listening to this podcast, whether it's this year, next year, or down the road, if you are in the Branson region, you'd like to go through this, we'd love to have you, because the historic value, the personal introspection that you'll pick up through this, and the camaraderie of teammates and the knowledge is just phenomenal, and it's worth it. What's fun is go through it, and then we've never had anybody ask for their money back.
Kirk, thank you so much for your time today and sharing your thoughts about leadership. It was truly an honor to have you on What Leaders Want. Friends, that's a wrap. We will put a bow on this episode of What Leaders Want. Today's podcast is sponsored by Conatus 3, the experts in leadership development, coaching, consulting, and healthy company culture. Conatus 3 develops people into leaders of people. Until we meet again, remember, if your actions inspire others to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more, you, my friends, are a leader. Bye now.